Welcome to Football with Cheese. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I got a little sunburn. It was really beautiful. Stayed by the pool a lot. But we need to talk about a few things around the NFL. Basically, these days I'm doing about 2 videos a week till the season starts. I also am a co-host of the Sports Truth podcast started by my buddy Mike. It's every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. So I will link in the description. Make sure you check it out because some of the topics I'm going to go over today, we're going to expand on and go into more depth. We have more time on the podcast. So check that out. Also check out my articles, PackersTalk.com. I am a Green Bay Packer fan. PackersTalk.com. I will link my articles in the description. Before we get into it, you know what to do. Subscribe and hit the bell for notification. So the main thing I want to talk about is Caleb Williams and the Bears. It's been one of the most fascinating stories. I don't know if the word fascinating is the right word. It's been one of the most, I don't know if there's a word for it. I was going to say interesting. That's a boring word. But there's just a lot going on there. Caleb Williams is the starter for the Chicago Bears, was the first overall pick last year. They brought a new head coach, Ben Johnson. He was the most sought-after head coaching candidate. Very good offensive coordinator for Detroit. His play design is outstanding. And the Bears brought him in to fix Caleb Williams because he did not play well last year as a rookie. It wasn't a disaster or anything like that. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions, mainly because he took a lot of sacks and wouldn't get rid of the ball. But Caleb Williams has a lot of pressure on him this year because they got him more weapons. They used a first-round pick on a tight end, second-round pick on a wide receiver. Like I said, they brought in Ben Johnson. They added some interior offensive line help, upgraded there. The offensive line's going to be better. So the expectations are very high. Caleb was the first pick. He has to play well. It's time for us to start competing against those other 3 teams, the NFC North, which we haven't in recent years. Not even close. And the thing that is just boggles my mind is how much he's being coddled. Caleb Williams, I don't know him. I don't know his father. But I did a whole video about this. I'll link it in the description. We'll link it right here or here. Who knows? His father was trying to circumvent the draft where he could sign anywhere and not play for the Bears because he didn't want to play for the Bears. Once Caleb Williams, they said after he went to a visit the Chicago Bears before the draft, all of a sudden he wanted to be a Bear. I think he realized that they were taking him no matter what, so he had to play ball. But he did not want to play for the Bears. And I get it. They don't have a good history with quarterbacks. But Caleb Williams in college and last year with the Bears was seen laying on the bench. He does not handle losing well. When things don't go his way, he doesn't handle it well. And I wonder if he's been coddled all his life, been spoiled. And we've seen him lay on the bench at Oklahoma, at USC, at the Bears, just lay down. And what the Bears should have done and did not do is kind of called him out and say that attitude is not a good representation of the Bears organization. We talked to Caleb, and he needs to handle adversity better. Something like that. And Caleb should have come out and apologized. I need to handle it better. That's right. No. They talked about body language. Not attitude, body language. So his body language is bad because of his attitude. So that's what Ben Johnson talked about. It's like they're coddling him. And he was terrible in their family night scrimmage. He's had some horrible practices. By now, you've all seen the video of him trying to throw the ball in the net, and when he doesn't, he blows a little hissy fit, like a little baby that he is. And they're calling him again. Ian Rappaport, he does have Shedeur Sanders as well. He posts, I guess it's a tweet still. I don't know what they call it now. But on X of Caleb Williams throwing a touchdown pass. It was a good pass. In a preseason game against the Bills, when the Bills are resting their starters. Very few players in that Bills defense are going to be contributors. They had some young guys out there that will play, but it was a second-team Bills defense, and Caleb Williams went 6 for 10 with a touchdown, led 2 scoring drives. He should against the Bills' backups. He absolutely should. He should look great. Ian Rappaport even had a second tweet the next day where he quoted Ben Johnson. He's really been locked in. It's the preseason. I've said this example. It's the best one I can give. When I was younger, I watched Ryan Leaf play a nationally televised preseason game where he dominated. And the people calling the game, I wish I remember who it was, were even saying the Colts may have made a mistake drafting Peyton Manning when Ryan Leaf was on the board. And if you don't know, Ryan Leaf was an absolute bust. Peyton Manning's one of the best to ever do it. Obviously, you know who Peyton Manning is. But here's the thing with the preseason. He should play well against backups. He should dominate. And he looked very good. So this is what you should expect. I want to see it in the regular season. I want to see he handles it when they lose some games that, he doesn't play well or takes a sack when he shouldn't. I want to see what happens. Because I'm telling you right now, the Bears are not division contenders in my opinion. And I just think this has a chance to be a disaster for all the reasons I've mentioned. Caleb Williams, something is not there. He's just not mentally tough, maybe because he's been coddled. And it's almost like they're using Ian Rappaport, who's an insider. He's a reporter. He breaks stuff. Like he broke the Josh Jacobs to the Packers and releasing Aaron Jones, which was shocking. It was on live TV when he broke it. I saw his face. It's like, what's going on? Like, people were shocked. That's his job. And it's like the Bears are using him. The Browns, too, with Shadur Sanders, to act like everything's perfect, everything's great. Forget all the bad stuff you've seen. Forget his attitude. It's insane. And we'll see what happens in the regular season with Caleb Williams. But his biggest problem last year, I mentioned it, was he did not want to throw interceptions, so he just held the ball too long and took way too many sacks. It doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. If you hold the ball too long, you're going to take sacks. And you got to either throw it away or take more chances. So, a couple more things I want to mention. We're going to go more in depth on the Sports Truth podcast every Tuesday night, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Like I said, links in description. Trey Hendrickson led the league in sacks last year. He's 29 years old. He's the best player on the Bengals defense. We've talked about that in other videos. They're at an impasse. He's 29, and he wants to be paid. And I get it. And the Bengals could have paid him before the offseason even started. And they would have paid him a lot less. Once Myles Garrett signed for $40 million, TJ Watt $41 million maybe, something like that. I'm sure Hendrickson wants $34, $35, $36 million a year. I'm sure the Bengals aren't even at 30. That's just a guess. I don't know. I don't have any insider information on that. But the Bengals completely screwed this up. If you were going to trade him, you had to do it before the draft because you had to get his replacement. For example, 2 teams are interested. Washington. You could have gotten the 29th overall pick. They used it on Josh Connerly. Bengals could have used it on Connerly. They could use offensive line help. Offensive line is a weakness for the team. Another team, New England. Maybe New England would have offered their second-round pick in this year's draft and a first next year because they weren't trading the 4th overall pick for Trey Hendrickson. But that pick, which went to Travion Henderson, maybe the Bengals use it on Donovan Ezeraku, edge rusher, Boston College. He's looked good in camp for the Cowboys. And then you have Shamar Stewart and Ezeraku as your young edges. Wow, what a group. But no, they don't trade him. They basically listened to offers but probably wanted 2 first-round picks and a player. Like, insane for a 29-year-old edge rusher, even though he's a very good player. And now you've lost leverage. Most teams that needed edge rushers addressed it, so there's probably 2 or 3 teams that are real serious about this, and they know the Bengals are probably going to have to trade him, so they're not going to offer as much as they would have before the draft. Total mess. Last thing I want to mention, Joe Flacco named starter for the Browns. Okay. No one expected one of those rookies to be named starter. Not a shock at all. The big question is, which one will they get rid of? Probably Kenny Pickett. They shop. That's just a guess. But Shadur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, yeah, they're not going to start. Actually, the question will be which rookie they will go to by week 4 or 5 when they're out of it by then because they don't have a good roster. The last thing I want to mention, Jerry Jones, we're going to talk about this a lot on the podcast, but he basically said in that interview that's gone viral that the Cowboys are a soap opera, that people need to talk about the Cowboys 365. And it seems to me he cares more about that than winning. Like, it's almost like he's drawing out this Micah Parsons situation, saying things like he could be hit by a car, dumb shit, to have people talking about the Cowboys. And he'll end up paying Micah Parsons more like he did with Dak, like he did with CD, if he pays him. And it hurts the salary cap. It hurts the team. It's like he doesn't care about winning. He acts like he does, but he really doesn't. He wants attention. He wants people talking about the Cowboys. He's got that show coming out on Netflix, I believe. And that's what he cares about. The best thing for the Cowboys is for Jerry to step down, or if he passes away, and his son Stephen Jones is to hire someone that knows what they're doing to run the front office. Because this is a disaster. They haven't been good for 30 years. Maybe 29. They won Super Bowl 3 out of 4 years in the 90s. When I was a kid, I remember that. I hated the Cowboys. They were so good, and they gained a lot of fans because of that. A lot of kids my age liked the Cowboys because they had Irvin and Aikman and Emmitt Smith and just a lot of great players. And that was Jimmy Johnson was in charge of the draft. He got a lot of picks in the Herschel Walker trade. He built those teams. Once those teams got old, they faded. And they've even had some years where they had really good teams. Tony Romo one year where they were like 13-3, number 1 seed, lost the Packers first round. 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs. They were the number 2 seed, lost the Packers first round. Jordan Love torched them. So they have not had playoff success in 30 years. And Jerry Jones is the main reason. It's not the only reason, but he's the main reason. I can't imagine being a Cowboy fan knowing your owner cares more about the spectacle than winning. It's all about winning. That's what fans want. We want Super Bowls. It's all we want. So, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notification, like this video, thumbs up, really helps out the channel. Share this with any who loves football. As we grow football with cheese, we talk about college football, the draft, NFL, obviously, podcast, and my articles, links in the description. If you have not, check these out, and I'll see you in the next one.